Some words don't fade. They stay with you, quietly living in your heart, replaying in your weakest moments. For me, those words were simple, cold, sharp, and spoken by my own father. You're just a nurse. My name is Emily, and those 4 words changed the way I saw myself, and eventually changed the way my father saw me too. Growing up, my father admired only one kind of success: power, status, money. He was a respected businessman, well-dressed, deeply confident, and obsessed with appearances. He loved introducing my older brother Daniel as the future of the family. Daniel studied corporate law, drove expensive cars, and carried himself exactly like my father. They were reflections of each other. And then there was me, quiet, soft-hearted, drawn to people, not prestige. While others dreamed of boardrooms, I dreamed of helping people breathe easier, hurt less, survive one more night. I became a nurse because I believed healing mattered, not because it was glamorous, but because it was meaningful. My mother understood that. She used to smile and say, "Emily, the world needs gentle hands more than loud voices." But after she passed away, that warmth disappeared from our home. My father became colder, harder, and his disappointment in me became impossible to hide. At family dinners, he praised Daniel endlessly. Daniel closed another major case. Daniel is buying a penthouse. Daniel understands ambition. Then his eyes would move to me. And Emily still works long shifts, changing bandages and taking instructions. Every sentence wrapped in polite cruelty, every smile hiding judgment. I smiled through it, but inside, something kept breaking. Then came the night everything changed. My father hosted a grand dinner party for investors, clients, and influential friends. Crystal glasses sparkled under golden lights. Expensive laughter filled the room. He invited me, but only because appearances demanded it. At dinner, one of his guests politely asked me, "So, Emily, what do you do?" Before I could answer, my father laughed softly and raised his glass. "She's just a nurse." Emily always had a smaller view of success. The table chuckled. My face burned. My heart shattered quietly in my chest. Just a nurse. As if compassion was small. As if saving lives was ordinary. As if sacrifice meant nothing. I excused myself and cried alone in the bathroom, staring at my reflection, wondering why love from him always felt conditional. But what I didn't know that night was that life was preparing a moment my father would never forget. A moment when titles, wealth, and pride would suddenly mean nothing, and the daughter he called just a nurse would become the only reason he survived. A week later, I was working a brutal overnight shift in the emergency department. Hospitals at night feel different. The lights are softer, but the urgency feels sharper. Machines beep endlessly, footsteps echo, lives change in seconds. I had already spent 12 exhausting hours helping patients through fear, pain, and uncertainty when trauma doors suddenly opened. Paramedics rushed in. Male, late 60s, severe chest distress, collapsed at home, family unknown. I looked up and froze. It was my father. His skin looked pale, his breathing was weak. His proud face, always polished, so certain, looked fragile, human, small. Fear swept through me, not anger, not bitterness, fear. Because no matter how deeply he wounded me, he was still my father. Doctors moved quickly, but complications appeared fast. A rare blood issue delayed treatment. They needed immediate donor matching and rapid stabilization. Daniel was contacted. He never came. He was overseas closing a deal. He sent flowers. Flowers. My father's powerful friends sent messages, "Thinking of you. Prayers, stay strong." But no one stood beside his hospital bed. No one held his trembling hand. No one whispered comfort into his fear. Except me. I stayed. For 3 sleepless days. I monitored every change, spoke with specialists, advocated for treatment options, and when matching blood became urgent, I was the match. Without hesitation, I gave what was needed. Quietly. No announcement, no applause, no revenge. Only love where pain once lived. When he finally woke, weak and confused, he saw me asleep in a chair beside him. His voice cracked softly. "You stayed?" I opened my tired eyes and simply said, "Yes, Dad." Tears filled his eyes, real tears, stripped of pride. Then one nurse, unaware of our relationship, gently told him, "Your daughter never left your side. She saved your life more than once this week." His face changed, not with shame alone, but realization. The daughter he called just a nurse had done what wealth, status, and powerful connections could not. She showed up. Until everything changed. Recovery changed my father, not overnight, but deeply, quietly. He became softer, like life had finally broken open the walls around his heart. When he returned home, he asked me to come for dinner, just us. No investors, no polished crowd, no performance. For the first time, he cooked himself, badly, but sincerely. As we sat together, he looked older, not weaker, just humbled. Then he said words I never expected. "I spent my whole life worshiping titles and missed the value of character." His eyes filled. "I called you just a nurse, but when my world fell apart, you were everything." My throat tightened. Years of pain stood silently between us. Then he whispered, "Can you forgive me?" Forgiveness is strange. It doesn't erase wounds. It simply stops letting them control your heart. I looked at him and said softly, "I forgave you long ago. I just needed you to finally see me." And he did. From that day on, he changed how he spoke, not just about me, but about people. He began funding nursing scholarships in my mother's name. He donated to hospitals quietly, without publicity. And every chance he got, he proudly introduced me by saying, "This is my daughter Emily. She saves lives." Not just a nurse. Never again. But life gave one final truth. Months later, Daniel's business empire collapsed in scandal and greed. The status my father once worshipped vanished like smoke. And what remained? Family, compassion, integrity, the things he once dismissed. I learned something powerful through it all. The world may measure people by titles, but life measures them by who they become when someone is hurting, by who stays, by who gives, by who heals. My father once thought I chose a small life, but in the moment that mattered most, my heart became bigger than everything he spent his life chasing. And sometimes, the quiet people the world overlooks become the ones who matter most when everything falls apart.